And we're SpielMill.
And this is our
Shelf of Shameful Opportunity. So this is where we take a look at the games that we just got to the table for the first time.
Yes.
And we just talk about how much we like them.
Yeah, and we're kind of catching up after a period of not being able to play a lot of games. So we're kind of chugging through the new ones this year.
Yep, I want to say welcome to our new subscribers. Thank you for joining us. And to our old subscribers, hello.
Hi. So we had a huge list. It's been a minute since we did one of these. So we're going to break it into a couple of videos.
Yep, so we'll start with this one. And we're going to start with Flock Together.
Flock Together is a game that we got off Kickstarter. It just came in. Actually, it was a pretty recent acquisition. And it's pretty cool. It's like a dungeon crawl kind of game, right? Would you call it that?
Boss battler.
Boss battler, right?
Probably more.
But with chickens.
Yeah, it's really, the theme is really fun. It's
so
got
cute.
Really punny names for the chickens. Annie Yoakley is the one that I remember right now.
Yeah, there was what was the Sherlock Holmes one?
I don't remember the Sherlock
I can't remember.
one.
I can't remember the punny names anymore. Damn it. But they were super cute. The illustrations are super cute. Very, just adorable overall vibe.
Yep. Really enjoyable. I think as far as boss battlers in general go, I'd say it's good, not great. It's not the best game ever. It's solid. Very solid.
Yep.
The theme really carries it a lot. It's a really fun, light theme. The gameplay is solid. And the one thing I want to say about it is it's a quick learn, though.
It is.
So as far as the boss battler goes, it's quick to the table.
It's a pretty good intro game for somebody that maybe isn't super familiar with boss battlers.
Yep.
One of the things that I thought was really cool is that both the hero chickens and the villains, their characters are these little spiral bound books. And for the villains, you put them on the table and you fight them. And in each round, if you don't beat it, it's going to level up in the next round. You just turn the page. Similarly, when you level up your chicken, it's just a spiral bound book. You turn the page and you're on to the next level. And I just thought that was kind of a neat way to do it.
And you have to make decisions about, do I go after this chicken or this enemy now, or wait till they actually level up based on what kind of damage I do now, etc., etc. So you got to think about those things. So it's kind of a little bit of a race to get rid of them before they level up, but then you have to be like, I better build up my own strength first, and you got to make those decisions.
Right, because if you put too much effort into fighting the big bad in the first round, or not, it's really not the big bad, the little bad, in the first round, you're spending less time leveling up your character, so you're not going to be as strong. So I love that. To me, that's a lot of fun in the game where you kind of have to pick which strategy you're gonna do.
The spiral notebooks are just a cool little mechanic thing.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I really liked this game. I definitely think it was a good intro to mid-level battler, and the theme is super welcoming. A great way to get somebody maybe that doesn't care about the typical like high fantasy type games. It's a great theme for somebody like that. So, but
if you're a very seasoned boss battler, this may not be for you, I would say. Just because it's a good game, but it's not your cup of tea, probably. Yeah. So, unless you want something you can play with family or friends. Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. But I mean, for us, it was great. I really loved it, and it was not too easy. Like, we lost. Yeah, it wasn't. We did not win. It's well balanced. It's well balanced. I'd say. Yeah.
That's always, I think, to me, a measure. As if we're just winning every time. It's just not that fun. You really want some tension in the game, and this definitely brought it. We did not. I think we did beat the boss at least once, but we also lost plenty too. Right. Yeah. All right.
All right, next up on our agenda, we have, well, I guess we should just talk about the first one we did in November. And so that's the Exit Calendar, Exit Advent Calendar, the Storm Before Christmas, or...
Before the Storm? I don't know.
There's a storm and there's Christmas.
Yeah, we'll put it right there.
It's technically last year's calendar, or 2 years ago, I think, in German, last year in English release, because it's like the English release lags, I think, a year behind the German release for these.
Yeah, and I think these are all still available. So if you haven't done one, I mean, you could get it now and do it and just kind of try to hustle through and get it done. Or you could get it and save it for next Christmas. We really love these as a way to ring in the Christmas season. We were a year behind because last year we moved and we had just no time. I mean, literally it's like a year to the day right now, I think, since that we moved. So we didn't do last year. So we started in November and did last year's, and it was great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, these things are, so the nice thing about the exit advent calendars is kind of, they're very much for beginning puzzle solvers. Not that there's not enough there for someone who's more experienced, there is, but they are easier puzzles.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's good in that vein because anybody could get into the calendar.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a veteran puzzle solver.
In fact, I think it would be a really good intro if you haven't done any sort of those puzzle games and you wanted to get into it. This is actually a pretty nice intro to it.
Yeah, I think the clues tend to follow similar patterns.
Yeah.
And it does challenge you enough to keep it interesting. And there's always some that stump us and we have to like, and I think with these puzzle games, I always say this when we talk about them. When you have 24 different clues, there's always one or two duds.
Yeah.
I don't know. There just always is. Like, I think it's just hard to design 24 good clues that work for everybody and with everyone's particular backgrounds and expertise.
Yeah. But there were some that were, I thought, so clever. I mean, I think they're very clever. Inka and Marcus Brandt are just clever. Incredibly good game designers and very clever. But even within that, there were a couple puzzles in that I just thought were super, super interesting and exciting. Overall, the experience was wonderful.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, I think the only drawback I had was there was one, I'm going to be vague because I don't want to spoil anything, but there's one where you have to physically do something and it didn't work quite right.
Which one
you
was
remember that one? Well, I don't want to say which one it was. Because it's a spoiler.
I don't remember.
But anyway, it just we were supposed to do something, and something was supposed to appear for us, and it never did.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that's right. And I wasn't sure. There was also some question of whether it's because we waited 2 years and maybe things shifted.
That was a theory.
Yeah. But there was one puzzle there that we just had to read the answer.
Yeah.
But overall, just
very good. Very
well
good.
done. Love
you
these
really
games.
enjoy it. So it's really fun because you get to play a little game for 15-20 minutes or sometimes less or sometimes more for 24 days. And
it's
that's
really
fun.
One of the best Advent calendars experiences that I've had.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, our next game, if you watched our Christmas video about Christmas games, we've already talked about this, but super excited to talk about it again here, and that is the Christmas movie magic game, which we freaking love. Oh my God. We gamify everything in our life. We roll dice to pick which record we're going to play. We just love to gamify.
I'm just dancing.
I know. It was exciting. I mean, that's how we feel about it. This game actually gamifies watching Christmas movies. So what you do is there's a deck of cards, and the cards mention like common tropes that come up in Christmas movies, and you have a hand of cards and you can score if that comes up. But if you discard something, the people that you're playing with can score that as well. So there's that tension between like keeping, I know that there's a Christmas tree farm coming up in this, and it's maybe a 4-pointer, but at the same time it's clogging up my hand, and if I can discard that and put that in the discard pile, you can score it faster. So we've played this, I don't know how many times now. You've played it more than me.
I've played it more than you because I've soloed it.
Yeah.
And you haven't done that, but so like we watch a lot of Christmas movies together. But then there's so many Christmas movies, and we have a different sleep schedule. So sometimes she goes to bed, and I'm like, all right, I'll watch a Christmas movie and solo Christmas movie magic.
Yeah,
but it's really fun. And I've really enjoyed doing that too.
It is, and it's great for movies. We've mostly been doing it for movies that we've already seen, because it's sort of a weird balance. It actually makes us pay a little more attention to the movie we've seen before, but I think it would also be hard to fully pay attention to a movie we haven't seen playing this, because sometimes we're both shouting out things and debating over whether that counts as a snow globe or a campaign.
You might miss some dialogue, or which if you've seen the movie before is not a big deal, but if it's a new movie, you might miss some key plot point.
Yeah, but this is just a winner. I love this game. What a find. What a brilliant idea. Oh, and there's make your own cards. So we watch a lot of queer Christmas movies. So we have like Coming Out Story is one of our bespoke ones. And you can just make your own depending on what kind of Christmas movies you watch the most of. Yeah. That was Christmas Movie Magic.
Yeah, Christmas Movie Magic. Highly recommend. It's also very affordable. It's an under $20, so it's a good stocking stuffer. Although you probably want to get to people before Christmas if you can, so they can enjoy more Christmas movies and play the game. All right, next up on our list, we have a cooperative game that is really good theme, and that is Defenders of the Wild. This is from the makers of Block by Block and Parks, Henry Audubon. So really, this was really good, I thought.
Yeah, this was really tremendous. Basically, you are creatures in the wild, and what you're trying to do, there's a factory that's spewing out pollution, and so you're trying to clean up pollution and rewild areas that have been polluted and built upon.
And it's releasing mechs that are destroying the forest, and so you're trying to take out the mechs and clean up the pollution before, and not be overwhelmed, and rewild these areas as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and the characters are super cute. Again, they're they're forest animals, but what's nice is you've got a handful of cards with special powers depending on which of the sort of factions you play. It reminds me a little bit in like look and feel, not feel of the game, but feel of the sort of ambiance of Root.
Yeah.
Might be the same artist, no?
Oh, maybe the artist. I don't know who the artist was.
Might be the same artist, yeah. But you've got different factions with different skill sets, and so like one might be able to heal, and really
so a lot of asymmetrical power stuff.
Yeah. Definitely has a pandemic-y feel too. After every turn, the bots are going and they can overwhelm you, and things can go south really quickly if you're not careful, because it has that sort of spillover mechanism.
Yeah, it's a pandemic-esque system in that you do your turn and then you draw a card and something bad happens. And then some next person goes, they do their turn, they draw a card, something bad happens. So that cycle of events is the same. I will say I think it's a little more fiddly, a little more complicated than Pandemic, for example. So there's a little bit more involved there if you're wondering about the complexity of the game. I'd say it's a little more complicated than Pandemic.
Okay. I don't remember. I'm afraid I can't make a analysis that is that nuanced, but I really like the feel that, there's something that's outside of your control, that's unpredictable, that you don't know exactly what's going to happen. And so you have to kind of mitigate against that, and it tempers how quickly and what you can do. And sometimes you have to make really hard choices, but that of course is what makes playing games fun and what makes the victory that much more sweeter.
Yep. It's really fun.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend. And if you like the theme of basically fighting against evil forces who are trying to destroy the environment kind of thing, that theme really appeals to us. And I think if you like that theme, this is definitely a game you should consider.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. All right.
Next up, we're going to talk about a couple games at once because they're all very similar. And this is the Deadbolt Mystery Society, particularly the ones we did were East Haven Forest and Merry Mischief. Now, there is some differences with these two. Merry Mischief was a printable mystery game. And so it's
pretty
a puzzle
simple. It was
game.
like a mini one.
Yeah, it was, some of the puzzles were too simple, I would say. I would say this one was too easy, but really good for a beginner.
Yeah, and also super thematic. It was about the North Pole.
Yeah.
It was about somebody breaks Santa's sleigh or something, and you have to figure out who did it and how to save Christmas, right? So very, very thematic right now. Print and play, easy to get. You could get this today and play it. It would be really good for a family to do together. Or if you've never done one of these and you just want to stick your toe in, also really good for that.
Yep. And then East Haven Forest is a pretty standard Deadbolt Mystery Society puzzle mystery game, and it's fine. It's good. It's good. They're all solid. They're all lean towards the beginner end, but they're not. They're more beginner to mid-level for the full boxes. Not the print and play was much more towards the beginner level.
Yeah. And we do have, hopefully, coming before Christmas, a number of Christmas mysteries from them. So I look forward to playing that. They do have a subscription, which you can get a Deadbolt, delivered to your door monthly. We had that for about a year, but that was right when Jane got really sick and we only did 1 or 2 of them. And so the rest are sitting there. We eventually stopped our subscription and now we're catching up and we're really enjoying them. I like the storylines, I think, are pretty good. They're pretty good at writing a clever story. East Haven Forest, I thought, was a really interesting story. There was sort of like maybe a supernatural element to it, but maybe not. Like not sure what was going on. Really, I will say, in the standard boxes, not the Merry Mischief, but in the standard, there's definitely murder and death and violence. So they're not necessarily family friendly, other than
But they are the way they're a murder mystery, you know. The way,
right,
so
yeah.
They're not overly gory either, so.
No.
All right, so next up, sorry.
No,
are you done?
I'm done. Go ahead.
Next up, we have a solo game that we tabled. I actually tabled it a lot more than you did, but we played it. We tend to play these together. You can also play this as a 2-player game, and that is Hunted North Pole. It's had 2 different names, and for some reason in my app, it's Hunted Santa's Workshop or something. I don't know, but it's Hunted North Pole.
And it's good enough that I really actually want to go play this right now. So
yeah. Go ahead.
Super thematic again, and that's one of the things, like when we're talking about a Christmas game, one of the things I want from it is theme, and this one is definitely dripping with theme.
Yeah, it's dripping with theme. It has event cards that have really good sort of text that livens up the theme. They're kind of funny, kind of immersive, and that really helps, I think. But also you're in the North Pole. Santa's been kidnapped by Jack Frost, so you're fighting Jack Frost's minions and trying to get to Jack Frost and free Santa. And you're playing cards. It's a push your luck game where you play into a row of cards, but if you get too many cards with like bells on them, then the monsters attack you. And I feel sometimes it's almost too hard not to get a monster to attack you.
Yeah.
But we played it 2-player. I thought it was a little bit easier, which was interesting.
Yeah. Well, we had twice the amount of like fighting power basically that you would have with one. And some of the monsters were actually really strong. I never leveled up my weapon, which was kind of a mistake. We did win, but just but just by the hair on our chinny chin chins. We barely won that bad boy.
I think it's harder solo. I played 10 times solo and I won twice. So 2 and 8. I'm a pretty good game player, I think. So
yeah, I mean, that's actually, again, what I kind of want out of those. I don't want it to be super easy.
You want it to be challenging, but I do think it's a little luck heavy. Of course, it's a push your luck game, and so that makes some sense. But I felt like there were a couple games I lost or won, and it was just kind of like really it was the luck of the draw.
Yeah. So basically, like when you draw a card, let's say it's a weapon. You can't take that weapon into your hand until you activate it. And let's say it takes 2 magnifying symbols to activate it. You have to get 2 magnifying symbols to activate it without having to fight a big bad, or else you lose your chance to get it. So it could be really punishing that way. It was sometimes really hard to get something into your hand.
You do have some special powers that help, and cards will give you special powers. I will say that we also have the first edition of this game, and it's my understanding the second edition introduces more mitigations, which might make it a little bit more interesting. But I think it's a good game.
Yeah.
So I'm just bringing up the pros and cons to try to fully balance the...
Yeah, I think the system's really neat. And again, it's really dripping with theme. I really just this time of year enjoy so much, I don't know, things with elves and yetis and rabid gingerbread men that are going to beat the crap out of you, you know.
Reindeer.
Yeah, reindeer. Yeah, exactly. Just so cute. So cute.
Very cute. So that is Hunted North Pole.
Yep. So our final game on this list, fittingly, is Final Girl. And we've played, and I think we've talked about Final Girl, but this was a new series or new box set, whatever you want to call them, episode, and it was North Pole. So this is the Christmas one where Mrs. Claus is fighting Krampus.
Yeah, we played this a bunch. Also very hard to win.
Very hard. Very hard. We were getting our butts whooped.
I think Final Girl in general can be swingy with the luck of the dice and, you know, how the tarot cards come out.
We lost in 5 minutes once. 5.
I think it was 6.
Oh, it
we got 1 more minute.
Real fast. It was like 3 turns in and we're like, whoa!
What happened? It was just like, yeah.
Yeah, very bad.
But we were fighting Krampus. We were Mrs. Claus. And that was really fun and thematic. And I mean, one of my favorite aspects of Final Girl is the thematic tie-in. And really just had a good time with this. I think it's still on the table. We're going to play it a couple more times.
Yeah.
But really enjoyed it. Thumbs up to Final Girl. I just really enjoy it. But I will say with Final Girl in general and also with North Pole, if you don't like luck swingy games, it's not for you.
Yeah.
So I've heard that people who don't like swingy games don't like it.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to me.
Yeah. The dice can be brutal.
Yeah. And you can mitigate, but it's, you know, it's dice.
Yeah, exactly. But again, super cute theme. Snowballs, Christmas cookies, you know, there's Santa, there's a Yeti, you know, very, very much the type of things you want to see from a game at this time of year. But with murder, it's awesome. I love it. Super
immersive thematically, I think. Works really well. And we have the playmat, which I just think it really helps the table presence of the game.
It does.
So I think, you know, if you have that money and that option, because you can get it from their website, consider getting the playmat. It really helps.
Yeah,
I think.
I agree. All right. Well, that is the first list of new to us shelf of shameful opportunity games that we've played since last we spoke.
That's right. Let us know if you have any thoughts about the games that we talked about, or criticisms or questions.
Yeah. Oh, and Deadbolt Mysteries would make a nice last-minute Christmas present for somebody.
It really would.
Right.
Remember,
every day that you game
is a holiday. Bye, everyone.